For me, kidney disease has been a bloody long haul, physically, emotionally and psychologically over the past 9 months since I contracted Legionella disease from somewhere, which resulted in acute kidney failure. There is no doubt that end-stage kidney disease is not the end of the world, and there are plenty of people worse off. But personally, it's a struggle to ensure it's not the end of your world. Everything, all aspects of life, the way you feel on a daily basis, your esteem, your professional life, your sex life, your relationships in many instances, your plans for your older years, your financial situation, your headspace, everything changes. And trying to keep these changes within the parameters of logic and accepting the necessary regimes you're forced to live under can be very testing, in fact real bloody hard. Knowing that you have to spend 9 hours a night, 7 days a week hooked up to a peritoneal dialysis machine is pretty mentally stultifying. But I similarly found hours of hemodialysis every second day at the hospital equally taxing. Understandably, the people you knew pre-kidney disease have little or no understanding of the issues, as after all myself, I had no knowledge of kidney disease or dialysis prior to becoming ill. I never sat at home one day and thought, oh, I must look up dialysis and see what it's like in case I get kidney disease. I found support and understanding among your coterie of friends is really difficult to get. Sure, you can get a lot of patronising like, you poor bugger, or condescension such as, you look after your health and just take it easy, or will your health allow you to do this or that? Pardon me. I have found support and understanding very difficult to attain. So isolation socially can become an issue, and you notice the invites to do this or that diminish drastically, so do the number of people who actually visit your house. There is little doubt that people feel awkward when confronted with life-changing illnesses, and that is not to mean they don't care. It's more they don't cope. And unless you have a strong supportive family unit, you might find yourself living in a lazarette. I've also found that if you manage to publicly keep your hamster on its wheel, you can still laugh and joke about things in life in general and don't bleed all over the carpet of every person you speak to. People take the stand that you are handling everything okay, and it's probably not as serious an illness as they had first imagined. My own nephrologist, Dr. Tim Furlong, said to me recently I was handling this really well, adding that if he had caught Legionella and the same thing happened to him, he'd have been shitty at the world and wouldn't speak to anyone for a year. Tim's assessment is oft being repeated by nursing staff at St Vincent's, by a few friends and people who think that I've just made the transition from the way it was to the way it is with relative ease. But they've never spent a day inside my head. The daily grind to keep your ass from dragging on the ground and adjusting to a new life with a severe disability, and that is really what happens, you become disabled, and trying to convince yourself that you are still the same person just with a disease that requires omnipotence and constant management, without antidepressants, counselling or a family support mechanism, is arduous and at times seems insurmountable. You run the gamut of every emotion and frequently. Triggers and patterns of thought that you hitherto did not have start to become pervasive, and your ability to find and appreciate beauty, humour, enjoyment and satisfaction with life becomes a daily exercise. You actually have to mine deep inside yourself to garner the strength to spend your waking hours positively and to be able to function without self-imploding. For me, I have to sit down and look at how I can achieve things, earn money while working from home, how I can feel productive and contribute, and how I can manage my disease and handle all the inherent issues it will throw at me over time. And I have to do this alone, except with the support of my 3 dogs who really keep me sane, amused and loved every day. To some extent I've been surprised at my coping skills, but at the same time I've been very cognizant of the toll of coping. The reason I've posted this vid is because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there with kidney disease or other disabilities and diseases that find themselves in the same position. There is something consoling about knowing you do not face this struggle alone. I've now passed all the tests to get on the kidney transplant list, but again you have to be realistic, as only 1 in 4 people in Australia who are on the kidney transplant list actually receive one. So I actually know that life day to day will not change dramatically without a transplant, but I'm not going to spend my life wishing and hoping for one right here, right now, as that can only lead to a series of ups and downs I do not need to add to my life at the moment. My two sanity tools are humour and keeping mentally active, and I find keeping my mind away from the disease. I love my music, politics, current affairs, writing. I'm currently writing a book, cooking and gardening, as well as following my favourite sports, thoroughbred horse racing, tennis and Australian rules football. All of these things take up headspace and take you away from the issues you cannot avoid with the kidney disease. I'm interested in how others cope, other people in similar situations, and what keeps them ticking over. I'd like to hear from you, and exchanging our experiences in fact may be helpful. For those of you who have ended up with a ticket on this bus that took a wrong turn in our journey through life, keep strong, keep smiling, and keep occupied. And above all else, fight every day to maintain your esteem, worthiness, and ability to cope. Good luck in your struggle.